السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم. I welcome my dear brothers and sisters in Islam to this session entitled A to Z of Love and Mercy. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, I think we have between Maghrib and Isha up to Salatul Isha. Jayyid. So we have about an hour and a half, inshallah. Jayyid, khair, inshallah. At the Lecutre Institute, we have a course entitled A to Z of Love and Mercy. Lecutre operates in about 20 cities around the world, and one of those courses that we have is A to Z of Love and Mercy. It's a 2-day course. You start on the Saturday, 8:30 in the morning, up to 7 p.m. and on the Sunday the same. On the Saturday, hopefully, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, we talk about marriage, and hopefully we get you married. And on the Sunday, we discuss everything A to Z pertaining to divorce. Not to teach you how to get divorced, but rather, hopefully, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, how to avoid getting divorced. And so, in this summarized talk here, we have 1 hour to 1.5 hours. So, we will only be able to cover maybe 5% of that course. A 16, 17-hour course, all we can do, justice that we can do in this short time, would be about 5%. But as the Arab states, مَا لَا يُدْرَكُ كُلُّ لَا يُتْرَكُ جُلُّ. That which you cannot get the all of it, you don't leave the little bit that you can get. If we cannot get everything, then let us take that little bit which we can get. بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. There's a millionaire and he's distributing money and he's giving money away free. You missed out on the 20,000 and now all he has left is 2,000. Will you not take the 2,000? Who will not take the 2,000? We will all take it. So whatever we can, whatever we get, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, we take. And our sitting between Salatul Maghrib and Salatul Isha, no doubt, is ibadah. Our sitting in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what we are talking about, are we talking about Sulaiman and Ahmed and Iqbal? Are we talking about the history of a certain country? No. We are talking about Qala Allah and Qala Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And what the fuqaha of al-Islam, what the scholars of Islam have stated. So, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, A is for what? If we want to talk about A to Z, A is for what? When we were all young, we all used to listen to that nasheed of our brother Yusuf Islam. What did he say? A is for? Allah. A is for Allah. Na'am. A is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to any marriage, when it comes to Sulaiman and Sumiyya getting married, when it comes to Ahmed and Sadia getting married, whoever it might be, any Muslim for that matter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the central matter, is that central being that we obviously at all times need to take cognizance of. When it comes to the ahkam, when it comes to the rulings, regulations in your marriage, that it should be that if she says to him, if the wife says to the husband, ittaqillah, fear Allah, what are you doing? How can you do this? And this is your family, and this is your son and myself. I married you. Ittaqillah, fear Allah. How will you stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Then this should obviously strike into the heart of that man. And similar with the opposite, if she is the one who is on the opposite, and she is the one who is doing something which is not supposed to be doing, and he says to her, ittaqillah, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, O amat Allah, O this female slave of Allah, fear Allah. These are words which in the past, if they were said to those of the past, then it struck them in the heart. But unfortunately, many a times, if it's said, what are you telling me, fear Allah? You fear Allah. Fear Allah is for yourself. You're the one who caused the problem, etc. A is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And many of you might know Sheikh Yawur Beg. He has this presentation where he talks about the ta'alluq with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the link with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like your cell phone, mobile phone, you bought it for a few thousand, but once the battery is dead, is it of any use to you? No use whatsoever. Maybe in a marriage fight you could pick it up and throw it on someone. That should be avoided, no doubt. But what other use is there? No use. We need to take it and we need to get it charged. And similar with ourselves, we are spiritual beings living a human existence. And so our ta'alluq with Allah, what is my link? What is my connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And as we mentioned, the first revelation was what? Iqra, was to read. But was there any books around for the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam to read? Jibreel came to him and said, read. Read what? Read what? And so Shaykh Yawur Beg mentions that maybe this was read the creation to understand the Creator. Read the creation, look at the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to understand the majesty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If one goes out, one maybe looks, do a Google search on the facts related to the blue whale. Ajib, mind-boggling stuff, because we are living in a concrete jungle. We don't really see what's happening outside, and maybe that's one reason that atheism is on the rise. Maybe not so much in South Africa, but definitely even amongst Muslims. In the UK, in the US, in Australia, etc. You find this Bangladeshi youngster, he's now gone to university, second generation Muslim living in the UK. He feels disconnected. He feels disconnected from his parents and also from his religion. And now he's at university and he reads this and he reads, the God delusion, etc. Books by Darwin, etc. and Dawkins. And so subhanAllah, he starts, drifting here, there and everywhere. And one reason for this might be that in the past, that farmer, that Muslim who lived out there on the fields, his ta'alluq with Allah was so strong. When he took the seed, oh Allah, I'm planting the seed right now. Oh Allah, you send the rain and you allow for the crops to come out and you allow for a good harvest. And so every time he'd pray and he'd hope, his connection was with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he wanted the milk, he went to his cow and he milked the cow. Oh Allah, the cow does not have enough of milk. Oh Allah, you make it happen. Provide the grass, etc. Whereas today you ask the kid, where does the milk come from? What's he going to say? It comes from Pick and Pay. Where does the water come from? Water comes from the tap. Where does the food come from? The fridge. That link, that ta'alluq with the creation of Allah, before even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that creation is our medium with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't really have that. And so that's why it's good. How many times in the Quran Allah states, فَسِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ, and travel on the earth and look and see. Look at the creation of Allah. هَذَا خَلْقُ اللَّهِ فَأَرُونِي مَاذَا خَلَقَ الَّذِينَ مِن دُونِهِ. This is the creation of Allah. Show me then that which other than Allah has created. That idol, that ism, that schism that you worship. What has it created? This is the creation of Allah. You look at the facts of the blue whale, for example. We know this is the largest mammal known to man. Subhanallah, just the tongue of the blue whale weighs over 4 tons, over 4,000 kilograms. The heart of the blue whale, larger than your average car. This blue whale, subhanallah, one would have thought if you were in charge of the blue whale manufacturing company, and if you were manufacturing blue whales, what food would you give this type of mammal? Massive, massive mammal, subhanallah. What would you give it? 30, 40 meters long. Longer than from the beginning of this masjid to the back of the masjid. Longer than that. Massive. What food would you give it every day? Maybe elephants? Feed it elephants? Makes sense? What food did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provide for the blue whale? Krill. What's the size of krill? An average between 1 to 2 centimeters. That massive, largest mammal known to man, what does it eat? Elephants? No. Sharks? No. It eats krill. Look at the qudra of Allah. We would have thought, maybe something else, maybe some sort of, another fish the size of an aeroplane. But it's eating krill on average between 1 to 2 centimeters. It cannot swallow anything larger than a beach ball. It cannot swallow anything larger than a beach ball, subhanallah. That massive mammal. And the largest, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you wanted to call it, of krill, grows up to about 5 centimeters. And that's its food, subhanallah. This is the creation of Allah. Look at the birds. Who is the one who holds up the birds in the sky? Look at the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No doubt, if one travels, one goes out, one looks at the mountains, one looks at the creation, one looks at National Geographic, sit in your own house, buy those DVDs, the blue, what's it called? The Blue Earth and a few others that he has. And Ajib, one of those good narrators and one of the good producers of many of these documentaries, what's his name? Attenborough. Ajib, Allah musta'an. Attenborough himself, he's an atheist, Allah musta'an. As some have said, you can take, one brother after Salah today, he said that, you can take a horse to the water, but you cannot force the horse to drink. We say no, rather, you can take a donkey to the water, but you cannot force the donkey to drink. But a horse, it's got khair and barakah in it, inshallah. But rather, this would be the example of a donkey. هذا خلق الله أم خلقوا من غير شيء أم هم الخالقون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the noble Quran did not refute the atheists much, But rather Allah talked about, the Christians and those who worship other than Allah. Those who claim that they believe in a creator, but they say we are so sinful, how can we go to Allah directly? We need some sort of intermediary. I'll ask him, he'll ask his big man, and he'll ask the manager, and that man will ask Allah. Allah refutes all of this. When it came to atheism, Allah only mentioned 1 or 2 verses. أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ, where they created from nothing, or are they themselves the creators? Because up till today, majority of mankind does believe in some sort of being. Majority of people on the face of the earth, whether they're worshipping an ism or schism, but they believe in some sort of creator. And atheists, no matter what, they're still the minority across the earth. So number 1, ya ikhwan, ya akhawat, when it comes to the A to Z of love and mercy, the A is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not feature in that marriage of yours, then the barakah is gone out. If on the day of that nikah, if at the time of that walima, the only one you were pleasing was Iblis, was shaitan, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was displeased, then what barakah and what khair are you going to have in that marriage? So number 1, ya ikhwan, ya akhawat, whether a person is about to get married, whether a person is married, whether it's 10, 15, 20 years, I'm now married. But if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not factor in that marriage, then there is a mushkila. What does a mushkila mean? Mushkila means a problem. A is also for what, ya ikhwan? A is for? A is for? A is also for abortion. May Allah save us. A is for abortion. And someone made this joke, he said that supposedly a man was asking and making dua to Allah. He says that he was making dua to God, and he says that why don't you send someone with the cure for cancer and with the cure for AIDS, etc. And supposedly in this joke it was said that the answer came back, I sent someone and you aborted him. Allahumma musta'an. With regards to abortion, then we know during the time of the Messenger ﷺ and the Arabs of old, they had this practice of doing what? They had this practice of burying their daughters alive. And this was a crime. And similar with abortion. Even though the child is not yet born, it is a crime. Majority of the scholars, Hanafi, Shafis, Malikis and Hanbalis, are of the opinion that life is blown into the fetus when? At 120 days, at 4 months. And so, if the child was aborted after 120 days, then this equals murder. Even before this, it's haram, but it's not murder. Basically, the rule is, when it comes to abortion, as the days progress into the pregnancy, it gets worse and worse. And it gets, lack of better words, it gets harama and harama and harama for you to abort the fetus. The only 2 exceptions given are, and that is, for example, after 120 days, if the life of the mother is at stake, it is between saving her life or saving the life of this unborn child. And so the doctors state that if she's going to go through this, the birth, if she's going to go through giving birth, etc., this is going to cause great stress to her. And this probably would lead to her losing her own life. Then, al-yaqeen la yazulu bi-shak. We have the principle, the certainty is not disregarded and thrown away for doubt. We have certain life in the mother, and we have doubtful life when it comes to the unborn child. Which one do we give preference? We give preference to the certain life, which is the life of the mother, and this would be a case where it would be allowed to abort the child even after 120 days. And this is the ruling of the Majma' Fiqh al-Islami, the Islamic Fiqh Academy. And the second reason and second allowance they gave was, if a group of doctors came together and they state that the fetus is completely, malformed, it is extremely, there's major problems with regards to the fetus, and if she goes through the birth, then this child is going to live a life, which the quality of life would be extremely, extremely low, and is going to be a greater burden upon the parents, and the fetus is malformed, etc. Then they stated that this would be another scenario where it would be allowed. But as for this guy and this girl getting together and they fall into the haram, they fall into zina, now she's pregnant and they say, you know what, let us abort the child, then this is absolutely haram. This would be, equal to murder in many instances. Some scholars have given another exception, and they state that if a female was raped, and it is before 120 days. Why before 120 days, Why before 120? Because life is blown into it at 120. And so if she was raped and it reached 120, would we be allowed to abort it? No, then it would be murder. It would not be allowed. But before 120, the haram is of a lesser nature. And so if she was raped and she says, I do not want this child, and if I give birth to this child, every time I would look at this child and I would be depressed, etc., etc., then many a scholar has given the concession, like we had with our sisters in Bosnia, etc. And so they stated, if it is before 120, then it would be allowed. And that's the opinion of majority of the scholars, especially amongst the Hanafi, Shafis, Malikis and Hanbalis. A is also for what, ya ikhwan? A is for abstinence. Is it permissible for someone, Sulaiman, what's your name, Sheikh? Azim, are you married, Azim? So Azim comes along and he says, you know what, I just don't want to get married. Why, Azim? He says, subhanAllah, I live here in Santon and I heard, about this marriage which broke down there, and I traveled to Durban and I heard it's even worse there. I went to Cape Town, let's not talk, mushkila, problem. He says, I'm just hearing marriages which are just falling down. They were married for 2 months, 5 months, 10 months and khalas. He says, I will save myself and I just don't want to get married. I'll give myself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and I will worship Allah and continue my life like that. What would we say? What's your name, Sheikh? Saeed, what would you say to Azim? Are you married?
Yes.
Excellent, Mumtaz. What would you say to him? What would you say to Azim? Azim says, I do not want to get married because I find that many marriages are just breaking down. What would you say to him? What nasiha would you give him? Is it allowed for him just not to get married?
No, because marriage is the sunnah of the Prophet.
It's a sunnah, so if I don't use a miswak, am I sinful? You said it's a sunnah. So a miswak is also a sunnah. So if I don't use a miswak, is there any problem?
It's not, it's a sunnah that is mu'akkada.
Sunnah mu'akkada is a stressed sunnah. Do you have a proof for that, Sheikh? Hatu burhanakum in kuntum sadiqeen. Because if you say it's a stressed sunnah, then the unmarried brothers, they all want to go out, they want to get married. The unmarried sisters, they all want to get married. You sure it's not wajib? What if someone says it's wajib to get married? Brother, what's your name, Sheikh? Muhammad, married. Muhammad, he says, yes, what are you talking about? Sunnah and Sunnah Mu'akkada, Haji. He says, I'm walking in Santon, Sheikh. I don't know where to look. I think it's fard, it's wajib. If I don't get married soon, mushkila, problem. Yes, ya ikhwan, ya akhawat. The ruling with regards to nikah follows the 5 rulings. Sometimes for someone, it might be wajib, it might be fard for him to get married. If he fears that he's going to fall into the haram, he fears zina for himself, he feels that I'm at the age of 26, I'm pulling out my hairs, I don't know what to do. And the haram is so easy. The haram is so easy, subhanAllah. One telephone call and it's done. Jayyid, it's like ordering pizza. Mushkila. It's like that. And the halal is so difficult. You have to go through this stage, and then the bank balance, and then this, and then that, and how long is your beard, and this, and mushkila, and your car. Never ending. As for the haram, it's one phone call and it's done, it's finished. No strings attached. Subhanallah. Look at how hard we've made the halal and how easy we've made the haram. Allahu musta'an. Allahu musta'an. So brother Muhammad, he says that, I think for me it's wajib. We say, brother, you know what? It is wajib. It is fard. It is fard for you to get married. If you feel that you will be falling into the haram, you cannot control your gait. He says, I'm fasting. He says, I'm fasting, and I'm fasting. When is Eid coming, brother? Fasting. When is Eid coming? Just fast. Okay, I understand. But when is Eid coming? I need to break my fast. Jayyid. So we say to the brother, yes, in this case, it is wajib for you to get married. Jayyid. And then you have another situation where someone says like Muhammad Azim, he says, you know what, alhamdulillah, the fast is doing me good. I lower my gaze, I don't watch TV, etc. I'm quite fine. I'm looking after my parents right now. I'm studying. I'm at the age of 35, but I don't think, I'm ready to get married yet. Maybe when I'm 40, they say life begins at 40. We say, no problem, brother. No problem. If he says, you know what, I want to train myself and I want to do this and I'm seeking knowledge, I want to become an alim, I want to become a muhaddith of Johannesburg, etc. We say, no problem, brother. If you feel that you can manage, if you feel that you are staying away from the haram, etc., it's fine. It's okay. You have something else. You have a higher objective. It's fine. But still, the basic rule is that nikah is something which is sunnah mu'akkada. Even though you're seeking knowledge and you're this and you're becoming the hadith of Johannesburg, it's still sunnah mu'akkada. and would be better for you to get married. But it's not wajib. If you did not, you are not sinful. You understand? This man, he don't know where to put his eyes. It's sinful for him. He needs to get married. This brother, he says, no, it's all fine. It's fine. You know, I've got dark glasses, etc. Well, alhamdulillah. For another person, it might be haram for them to get married. Why? That this person knows from himself that this individual, you know, he might be a person who has a super high level of anger. And every time something happens, you know, any small issue, he starts swearing and he's got a very, very bad temper. Then for this person, until he controls his anger, until he seeks anger management, etc., it would be wrong for him to put a sister into that position. She gets married to him and the next morning, you know, all hell breaks loose. And it might be makruh for someone, or it might be haram makruh for someone, that he says, you know, he wants to get married and he comes across the sister, but he knows when it comes to the matters of intimacy, he has some medical issues, he has some medical problems. It would be haram for him to go forward and get married to her unless he informs her that, you know what, I have this aib, I have this problem, I have this issue, etc. If she says, yes, I'm okay with it, then they can get married. Jayyid. Similarly, if you have two individuals who are HIV, two individuals who have AIDS, are they allowed to get married? So we have Sister Salihah and Brother Salih. How it happened, Allahu A'lam. Salih means righteous, and Salihah means also the female who is very, very righteous. But it could be a case where, you know, their parents, you know, something might have happened with their parents, etc. You know, Salihah's mother and, you know, Salih's father somewhere else in another country. I mean, there's no sin upon the children, and the child is born HIV, and so he grows up, he's now 17, she's 22, etc. They want to get married. Is it allowed for those two who are HIV positive, is it allowed for them to get married? Would nikah be valid? Yes. Yes, it would be valid, Jayyid. But obviously they need to take care with regards to the matters of intimacy. Would it be allowed for someone who is HIV positive to get married to a sister who is not HIV positive? Would that be allowed? Doctor?
Full disclosure.
Full disclosure, obviously yes. Full disclosure would be required. And we would say to her that when there is intimacy between the husband and wife, then protection would be required. Why? Allah states, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ, and do not throw yourself into destruction. And we know that this illness here, this illness would cause great harm to herself, and so, you know, protection would be required, would be wajib, would be an obligation. It would not be allowed for them to have intimacy, etc., except with protection. Fahimtum? Jayyid. So abstinence, we say to one brother that, you know, wajib, you need to get married. The other brother who says, I can control myself, we say, it is best if you get married, but if you have some other major, higher goals and objectives, you're still seeking knowledge, you don't have a job as yet, etc., get a job and then inshallah you can get married. But someone says, I just do not want to get married, this is not from our sharia. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you all know the famous hadith, those three individuals who came to the wives of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tell us about his worship. Tell us about, you know, what's he inside of the house. We know how he is outside. So they said he makes salah like this, and he does this, and he fasts, etc. So one of them said, from today, I'm not going to marry a woman. The other one said, from today, I'm not going to sleep at night. I'm just going to stand in salah. The other one said in one narration, I'm not going to eat, you know, I'm going to fast every single day. So the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he heard about this, he asked them, did you people say such and such? They said yes. He says that I am the one who fears Allah the most. I am the one who fears Allah the most, but I marry and I eat food and I fast and I break my fast and I stand up at night and I pray and I also sleep. And whoever does not follow my sunnah, then in reality we know the narration, this person is not from me. This is my sunnah, and Islam is what? Islam is the middle way. We are not like the Christians, etc. You know, the high priest does not get married, and what happens? This is not the human way. This is not the natural way. What happens eventually? Then you have court cases after court cases. You have cover-ups after cover-ups because he's playing with the young boys, etc., etc. Allahu musta'an. Jayyid. A is also for what, ya ikhwan? A is for age. What's the magic number when it comes to marriage? As they say, age is but a number. Jayyid. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he married Khadija. Her age was what?
40.
Her age was about 40. Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was about 25. Side note. You have some narrations that Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, she was about 27. She was about 27, 28. Why? Just remember this. Because she went on and she had how many children? Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had 4 daughters from her. He also had a son by the name of Abdullah from her. He also had a son by the name of Qasim from her. We know that yes, the 2 sons, they passed away in infancy, but those 4 daughters went on and they were adults. And it's not normal, it's not, we won't say normal, but it's not common for a female who gets married at the age of 40 to go on and have 6 kids. So just remember that. There are narrations that she got married and she was around 27. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. But as we say, age is but a number, inshallah. Khair, inshallah. But no doubt, the closer they are in age, the higher bi'ithnillahi ta'ala their compatibility. Someone is now at the age of 60 and he wants to get married to a sister who's at 17, 18. Mushkila, problem. B is for what? B is for what? I know Yusuf Islam says A is for Allah and B is for Bismillah. Bismillah, we're coming to that. When do you say Bismillah, etc. Now. Jayyid, but right now B is for? B is for what, Azim? Think of something.
Beauty.
B is for beauty. Jayyid, okay, I had bad breath, but no problem. Jayyid, I mean bad breath, Jayyid. Mushkila bad breath, subhanAllah. Jayyid, the man wants to get married and, just meets up with his wife. Or in fact, if it's coming from the wife's side, it's even worse. Jayyid. I mean, it's bad from the guy and it's worse from the wife. But someone say, why are you making this distinction? Everyone's equal. We say, yeah, we're equal until proven otherwise. Jayyid. Ala kulli hal, with regards to bad breath, subhanAllah, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, every time he entered his house, what was the first thing that he did? He took the miswak and he cleansed his mouth. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam states that use the miswak when you are taking your wudu. Use your miswak before you start your prayer. And also when the breath in your mouth changes, etc. Use the miswak when you wake up from sleep. Use it, subhanAllah. So much of emphasis given to the matter of the mouth. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, during the final days of his illness, the last day in fact, when he was on the lap of Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, he could not even speak. Her brother entered into the room, Abdul Rahman. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is looking at him. He has the miswak in the mouth. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam keeps looking at him. He cannot even ask for the miswak. Why? Because he's in that sakarat right now. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, she knows her husband and she knows that he probably wants the miswak. And so she took it, she turned it around, she softened it on the other side and she puts it into the mouth of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imagine even at that time, he's at death's door, but still the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam wants to take care with regards to his breath. Subhanallah. And so, ya ikhwan, ya akhawat, bad breath, it's just a destroyer. Anytime, the husband wants intimacy with his wife, or she wants to be intimate with him, etc. You get the bad breath, khalas, everything's gone down the drain. Allah understand. Jayyid. B is also for what? Brother mentioned, B is for beauty. Jayyid. And as someone said, when it comes to, this is just, as the book, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Jayyid. What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala state in the Noble Quran? وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنْثَى. And the male is not like the female. They are created different. And as one has said, he says that men, they fall in love with that individual, with that female, etc., that they are attracted to. And the female is attracted to the person that she loves. He loves that person that he is attracted to. The first thing with him is attraction. So he falls in love, he gets in love, etc. First thing is, the matter of attraction from the side of the guy. Whereas from the side of the female, she is attracted to the person that she loves. You understood that? Khair, inshallah. If you didn't, no problem. Jayyid. So the matter of beauty, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam states that a female is married for various reasons, for her jamal, for her beauty, for her this, for her high standing in society, the family that she comes from, for her wealth, etc. But at the end, what did he say? He said that if it comes down, you need to choose beauty over brains, you need to choose beauty over deen, etc. Then the final criteria should obviously be the matter of the deen. Why? Because all the other matters, they can go. They can remain, no doubt, and they can go. But deen is something which will remain. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. We also know that B is for, imagine subhanAllah, A to Z, we'll be here until Fajr. B is for benefits and responsibilities. Actually, our Bey mentioned, he says that every relationship is built upon benefits and responsibilities. Any type of relationship, be it the relationship between yourself and your maid, be it between yourself and your employer. Your employer employs you, why? Because he sees a benefit in the matter. Right? You're doing this work, you're doing this, the computer programming, etc., etc. But once he does not see that benefit coming from you, what happens? The relationship is terminated. You know what? Here's your paycheck, and we do not want to see you ever again. It's khalas, it's over. There's a divorce which occurs. And so, every relationship is built upon benefits and responsibilities. With benefits come responsibilities. Due to your being able to benefit from this relationship comes great responsibilities. And so there is a balance in those matters. C is for what? Think. C is for? Communication. Jayyid. C is also for children. C is for children, subhanAllah. That's, you look at this child, you look at Sulaiman, you look at Ahmed, you look at your daughter Salihah. As we mentioned in the Jummah khutbah, when a person dies, there are three things which still remain. And one of those three is a pious child that he leaves behind. O waladun salih yad'u lahu, a pious child who makes dua for this individual after this individual is long gone, subhanAllah. That this child, 50 years after you passed away, 10 years, 20 years, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, they all remember this grandfather, subhanAllah, and they make dua, and they remember you. And that is your legacy which you leave behind. I mean, what's a kid? Obviously, many a times the person is so busy, he goes to work 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, he comes home 7 o'clock, and he has absolutely no time for his kids whatsoever. You all know the story of that young boy. The father comes home, and the young boy, Iqbal, he says to the father, Daddy, how much do you earn in an hour? So the father says, Father is tired right now, just came from work, it's 7 p.m. What are you asking me these questions for? And just leave me alone, I'll talk later. And so the father goes on to the eating table and he sits down. Small Iqbal, he's 2 years, 3 years old. What does he do? He goes quietly, he goes to his room. And so the father, he has his dinner. Once he's rested, once he's fine, and he thinks to himself, maybe I was a bit harsh on Iqbal. And so he goes to Iqbal's room, he knocks on the door there, and he says, Iqbal, what's happening? Why are we asking this question? He comes in, Iqbal says, yes daddy. He says, I asked you, I want to know how much you earn in an hour. So the father says, well, it's about 200 rands, 300 rands an hour. So Iqbal then he moves his pillow and he starts pulling out some coins. And he got his small money box there. And he starts taking out some money and he's putting some money together. So the father says, what are you doing? Where do you get all this money? The father is about to scream again. And so he says, no. And he puts together some money there. And he says, here daddy, here's 150 rand, here's 200 rands. I want 1 hour with you. SubhanAllah. And then the father thinks to himself, wow, what's he talking? And then the message is, SubhanAllah, those who are the closest to you, your loved ones, etc., they value the time that you are with them. That 1 hour Iqbal there, he doesn't see his father. He wants that one. He's willing to pay. He's willing to pay his father to be with him for an hour. Allahumma musta'an. Yesterday I heard a brother, he was mentioning, he says that for you to sit on the eating table and have your entire family around you, especially in today's day and age, this is maybe at times worth like 10,000 rands. Having your family around the table and all of you eating together is worth about 10,000 rands, subhanAllah. 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, if you want to gather that family together, gather your brothers together and all of their kids, etc., you have to plan some sort of gathering 1 month in advance, give everybody notice, everyone comes together, and the place, it costs you about 10,000 rands. Right now you're having the opportunity every single day, subhanAllah. So value that time, value that the people around you, the loved ones, subhanAllah, because that work and that money and all of these things will go, but these people here, that's your legacy. And that's what you leave behind, subhanAllah. C is also for conditions. Jayyid. Conditions in a nikah contract. Is this something which is permissible? That Sister Sumayya, she says, no problem Sulaiman, I want to get married to you. But you know what? I'm putting a condition in our nikah contract. When the Imam is making the nikah, I want a certain condition there. What condition are you looking for? What do you want? She says that, well, you see, I want a separate apartment. And I don't want a promise from you. No, a promise. People break promises. I want this conditional in my nikah contract. Or she says, I'm putting a condition that you're not allowed to remarry. You will not be allowed to remarry. If you want to get married again, you need my permission. If I say yes, then it will be allowed. Otherwise, no. Would this be something allowed? Is it allowed for her to do? Huh?
Yes.
Is she not making the halal haram? Sa'id? She says, you're not allowed to get married again. Putting this as a condition. Is it allowed?
No, because they...
Not allowed, at least the man here. Fadal ya Sa'id, why not allowed?
Because permission has been granted.
Because Sa'id says, forget, I want to follow the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, I'm living in South Africa, I want to follow Zuma. Fadal.
The Almighty has already allowed in the Quran.
Allah has allowed it, so how can she disallow it? That's what you're saying? Simple as that. Okay. Anyone else? Is it allowed for her to put a condition like this?
She's not necessarily disallowing it.
She's not disallowing it.
It's the same as you HIV/AIDS person marrying somebody that doesn't have AIDS. You stated in the Quran a verse that says, do not enter into something that can destroy yourself.
Right. So if he remarries, is she going to be destroyed? Huh? She won't die. I haven't heard of anyone, the husband remarried, and she died. It's extreme now. Ala kulli hal. It is allowed. It is allowed. Why? Because she is not making the halal haram for him, but rather she is curtailing and she is narrowing the permissible for him. Is it permissible for him to get married again, or is it wajib for him to get married again? Is it fard for him to get married again? What's the ruling? Is it fard for him to get married again? No, it's something which is permissible. If it was fard for him to get married and she said you cannot get married, then it would be haram for her to do that. That condition would be invalid. But if it is something which is permissible and she sees some sort of benefit in the matter and he agrees, is he forced? Is he forced? No. He can get married to whomsoever he wants. He does not have to get married to her. But if you want to get married to me, then this is the condition based upon which I will marry you. And so he is bound by that condition. Now, let's say for example, he wants to get married again. He just wants to, right? Maybe there's some issue, some problem, whatever the case might be. Is it haram for him to get married? No, it's not haram. But, then you might say, what was the point? What was the point in her putting the condition if it's allowed for him to get married again? Number one, if he remarries, he must have a valid excuse, number one. And number two, it gives her the option of separation if he remarries. Whereas under a normal circumstance, if the husband remarried, it does not give any sort of leverage in her hand. You understand that point? What's your name, Sheikh? Bashir. Your wife put this condition? No. No. Not yet. Not married yet. Jayyid, Doctor, what's your name, Sheikh? Ismail, your wife put this condition? Most women don't know about all of this, Jayyid. And in fact, in reality, putting too many conditions in your nikah contract, makes it too much like a business contract. Jayyid. We want the barakah, etc., to come. But permissible is one matter, and whether it's recommended is a different story. Marriage check, Ismail. Yes, okay. Why put this condition? No.